So apparently we're finally getting a Mushoku Tensei Roblox RPG game, and I'm actually surprised that it even took this long to make one. The game you are seeing in the background is called La Place, and from everything they've shown so far, this is looking to be a full-on action adventure RPG with a pretty big focus on exploration, combat, and world building itself. And as far as I know, this is the first Roblox game I've seen seriously attempt to build an RPG based around this anime, which is kind of surprising because if we put the questionable things aside just for a second, if you look past it, the world itself is actually perfect for an RPG game. You already have magic, different races, monsters, locations, adventures, different fighting styles, all the type of stuff you could build progression around. The blueprint is literally sitting right there. The anime has 3 seasons worth of content they can get inspiration from. Maybe just leave certain parts of it out of the material. But the first thing that immediately caught my attention with La Place was actually the world. Like seriously, just look at the map. This is probably one of the better looking maps that I've seen on this platform. And it's not even necessarily because they're trying to make everything ridiculously realistic. It's the colors. Everything looks extremely vibrant. The grass, the building, the environment. It actually looks like a fantasy world. Now, map aside, let's talk about the thing that probably is the most important, the combat. Because we've seen this story multiple times already. Game looks beautiful, map looks amazing, then you actually play it and the combat feels like you're fighting underwater. Thankfully, from what they've shown, La Place's combat actually looks pretty smooth. Obviously, I haven't played the game personally yet, so I'm not gonna sit here and tell you the combat is amazing based entirely on footage, which is kind of sad now that I think about it, how much trust issues these developers has given us the past couple years. It's actually wild. But all that stuff aside, visually this looks promising. The movement during the fights looks fluid, attacks seem to transition into each other pretty naturally, and the combat doesn't look ridiculously stiff. That's the biggest concern for me. I want my attacks to actually feel like they have some weight behind them without locking my character in an animation for the next 7 business days. And depending on how much freedom we get with builds and abilities, this could be very interesting, especially for you PvP demons out there. But something else that really interested me was the mounts, and it's not that important when you first look at it, like what games don't have mounts nowadays, until you actually look at how fast these things are moving, and these things are actually moving. So I would say it's safe to assume that the map is probably going to be pretty big. At least I hope so, because if you're giving me a fast moving mount, I want a reason to actually use it. Give me different regions, cities, forests, hidden areas, boss locations, places where I can wander around for 20 minutes and accidentally find something I wasn't even looking for. And that's the kind of exploration and adventure RPG like this needs, especially if it's one about this anime specifically. Another thing that I feel separates La Place from the competition is actually the models. I generally put some of the models that we've seen in this game up there with games like Ruejix and Holy War X. I know me just saying that just made some people instantly open the comments ready to type some shit, but hold on, hear me out. Everyone already knows that Holy War X and Ruejix is the pinnacle when it comes to models and just like the best game that's going to come to the platform in general. But that does not mean that we can't take a moment to appreciate when something's good. Just because it's not the best or up to the standards that we have other things at doesn't mean it is not good or deserve praise. Because one of my biggest problems with some of the anime RPGs that's been coming out is you'll have these beautiful effects, the map is nice, you have good animations, and then the enemy walks around looking like somebody made them on their lunch break, like legit just typing shit. La Place doesn't really seem to have that problem. The enemies actually look like they belong in the world, and that's honestly really reassuring, and it's also really important. Something I hope we get to see a lot more of is the magic. I want to see the different type of magic abilities that will be added to this game. The most we've seen in the clips that I've been showing you guys in the background has been flame attacks, and it's coming from Riez rather than Rudius. So I want to see if they're gonna have like water spells, if they're gonna have Rudius's stone bullets, maybe some wind magic would be pretty cool, or ice. But honestly, when it comes to magic in any kind of game, there really isn't a limit to the kind of stuff that you can make. But I do appreciate that it's not so flashy to the point where anytime somebody presses the key is like getting hit with a flashbang. I don't need every fireball attack to look like Escanor is about to throw a cruel sun at me. So to put it simple, just make it look good, and La Place seems to understand that. But this is where I start having some questions, because visually I think they're already got my attention. Combat looks promising, models look great, the map looks beautiful, mounts suggest that we're getting a decent amount of exploration. Cool. But what does progression actually look like? That's the part I'm really interested in, because the world of Mushoku Tensei gives them a ridiculous amount of stuff they could work with. Magic progression alone could carry a huge part of the game if done correctly. Different spells, different types of magic, training, weapons, fighting styles, character progression, exploration, rare abilities. There's so much potential here, and I really hope progression isn't just congratulations, you killed 8 wolves, now go kill 12 slightly darker wolves. I am so tired of that. For once, I want a game that makes me feel like an adventurer. Let me start off weak, let me explore, let me find rare items, let me get folded by some monster that I clearly wasn't supposed to fight yet. And then 20 hours later, after I grind, get some equipment, feel good about myself, I come back and now I'm a problem for him. I personally believe that's the type of progression that makes an RPG addictive. I want the new abilities, I want the new areas, better gear, I want new ways to fight, actual progression. And if Laplace manages to combine that with the world that they're showing, then we're actually gonna be eating. But something that I've noticed that I kind of have an issue with the game is the fact that the characters don't seem to have faces, and I don't know if that's to avoid any copyright stuff, but it does look a little silly. So I don't know how that's gonna play into creating your own character if you're just gonna walk around with no face. But seeing some of the clips where they're fighting and punching each other in the face and they're coughing up blood, that kind of takes away from the immersion of the game, the fact that there is no face on these characters. And I personally don't think is a huge issue, but I would rather they add something, maybe just give us like some default faces, just as long as it's just not a blank face, because I feel like it looks a little silly, I'm not gonna lie. But like I said earlier, if the devs really do their thing and they really lock in for this, I think this game will pull a lot of players in, and I think it will be a great addition to the platform. I don't know any of these devs personally, I don't know if any of them have any experience with any past games that I've personally played, but from what we're seeing in these sneaks, I do have high hopes for this game. As of right now, I don't know when they plan to release this game. I don't know if it's going to be the end of the year release. That's what I would put my money on personally, since we are getting a trailer now, but you never know. Sometimes we get trailers early and then we don't get a game for like another 1 or 2 years. But fingers crossed, the game looks like it's in a good state and we can actually be playing it by winter or maybe late fall. Now, do not shoot the messenger. I don't know. That's just my guess personally, but I could be way off and we might not be able to play this game till 2027. If you want more information about the game, they did drop a trailer, so I'm gonna leave it linked below in the description. So make sure you go watch it, leave a like on it, subscribe to the channel if you guys want more information about the game. And I will also leave the Discord server linked below as well. That way you guys can join the server. That is the best place for you guys to know more information about this game whenever the devs are ready to provide it. But let me know what you guys think about Laplace. Are you interested in playing this game when it releases? And if you watch Mushoku Tensei, what systems or abilities you want them to bring into the game? Because if they actually take advantage of everything the world has to offer, this could be an amazing game.
Night, yeah, the gang don't rest. Bitch with a zoo, I bang my chest.